Alrighty. Likutei Moharan, we are holding by Seif base. So after we have explained it, when a person speaks the Dibur Torah with his mouth, and he's learning out loud, he's zochet that the Diburim will illuminate for him to do tshuva, at all the places that we need to do tshuva. And by doing more tshuva, and more tshuva, and more tshuva, at the end he'll be able to comprehend the Dibur Torah in great depth. Now, the Rebbe says that we're going to learn that there's another tonight. It's not just any dibur. It has to be an illuminated dibur. In other words, you can't just put any bulb in the flashlight. It has to be a working bulb. Okay? Achla dibu, that you're going to speak in the Torah in a way, sheyoyer, that will illuminate for you the place where you need to do tshuva. The only way that this can happen is if that inyan, this aspect, this principle of kavod is involved in that. You have to see that the kavod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that the honor of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to be there b'shleimus, perfectly. That a person would consider that his kavod is nothing compared to kavod Hashem. In other words, through humbleness, when a person will feel his smallness and his humbleness, vis-a-vis HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it wouldn't take any kavod for himself at all. Because when a person is haughty, when a person is prideful, and he takes the kavod to himself, then the HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not b'shleimus, is not complete, because the person is actually showing that there is another entity besides the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hey, what about me? Hello, Now, and the reason why it is dafka through humbleness that a person will be zochet that the dibur will illuminate for him. The main inyan of the dibur is something that trickles down from a very, very high and supernal inyan, which is called kavod. The dibur stems from a place called kavod. Moshe Kosev, it is said, tell him, use the Melech HaKoved. Melech HaKoved is because the kavod is the sphere of Malchus. And by the fact that we honor HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we crown him upon us. And B'chinas HaDibur, and this B'chinas HaDibur, it is that aspect of Dibur trickles down from the Malchus. Hainu, as it is said in Psicha Pasach Eliyahu, that we say, according to some of the Nuschos, the same Erev Shabbos, Malchus Peh. The Malchus is the Peh. B'chlal, the inner of Malchus is always the outer aspect of anything is the Malchus. The most external aspect of anything is the Malchus. The process starts with thought, and the thought is manifested and expressed in Dibur. So that's why the Peh is considered Malchus, because it's the expression of the thought.
The thought is the highest?
Yeah, that's the Chokhmah, and all the spheres, and then it comes out in the mouth. The mouth is the Malchus. Same thing as kavod. Kavod, it's not you, it's the most outer thing of you. That's why the clothes are called Malchus. Why? Because it's the most external bechina of you, to the point it's mamish outside of you. So that's why also you can see that the Gemara thing, he mentions it here, but the Rabbi Yochanan called the clothing, called them kavod. Rabbi Yochanan called the manna mechabdesa. He called the manna, the kelim, the clothing, called them covered. Because that's the outer layer, that's the outer, all the time, the outmost layer is always and it is usually between the clothes that tell you who the person is. That person is rich or he's poor, Not really disguises himself, but normal, You can tell by a person's clothing, what he's about, whatever it is, because the outer bechina is the expression of the inner mitzias. That's why pain, covered, and begodim, and whatever, these are all the outside. According to bechina, also, the skin is also malchus. Because, for the body itself, that's the outermost bechina, v'chula, v'chula, v'chula. Everything which is the outermost aspect of anything is the malchus. Malchus peh. The peh from which the dibur comes out is the malchus. And the reason for it is because there's no such thing as a king without a nation. A king is only a king if he has a nation. In fact, he once used to have a nation, whatever it is, that doesn't make him no king. It's just that's not a real king. And how does a king exercises his malchus, his control, his dominion? By dibur, by speaking. The dibur is the malchus. The dibur, when a boss he tells the people what to do. It's just that's the thing that makes him boss. The dibur. That's why the gilui of the malchus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world is through dibur Torah. This is how the Kadosh Baruch Hu reveals his mitzvahs. He reveals what he wants through the dibur Torah. And since the dibur is drawn from the in of kavod, Pchinas Malchus, that's why when the kavod of Kadosh Baruch Hu is not perfectly, because a person takes the pride to himself, then the Malchus is also not perfectly by him. Because his mouth is not a mouth the way it's supposed to be. It's damaged. So if the mouth is damaged, then the talk that comes out of the mouth is just as damaged. When the Torah comes to damage dibur, to a damaged mouth, it's not enough that the words of Torah don't shine to him. The Torah itself that this person is learning, the Torah itself is darkened and becomes opaque, and it is hidden in from his mouth. Don't let this Sefer Torah, stray away from you, move away from you. Yomush is also, as it says, Vayamesh Choshech. Says in Mitzrayim, Makas Mitzrayim, it was said, the Mitzrayim couldn't get up, why Vayamesh Choshech? It says, Chazal said that the Choshech became a Mamoshes. Vayamesh Choshech. And so the Yamush, Lo Yamush Sefer Amar means that don't let the Divrei Torah that come out of your mouth become mamoshes, become choshech, become dark, become darkened. Haynu shelo isgashmu v'itchashchu mipicha. So Divrei Torah will not become gashmistic and dark from your mouth. Now, a little bit deeper into the sugya, why when a person is prideful, he takes the kavod to himself, he cannot speak diburim which are illuminating. And not only this, but diburim that are coming out of his mouth are actually darkened and coarsened. When you're not particular, you're not careful that the kavod of Kadosh Baruch Hu should be perfect. In other words, through haughtiness, you can't open up your mouth and say the diburim of Kedusha, because you don't have the spiritual mouth. Since the mouth and the diburim are damaged. That's why the Torah that coming out of such a mouth are also damaged, also darkened, they also become coarsened. Bivchinas, and it is said in Tehillim, the mouth was shut, they spoke pridefully. And it says when a person becomes prideful, then his mouth gets shut. I mean, yeah, he talks. Boy, does he talk. He's a chatterbox. He doesn't stop talking, but he's not saying anything. The diburim, because the diburim are not illuminating. It's not illuminating diburim. You can't open the mouth of diburim kedusha like that. And now the Rebbe brings another proof to that from Kemaisa de Levi Bar Sisa. He was brought to a certain. There's one of the Moraim who was brought to a certain town. He should be the Rav over there. They put him on a big stage, and they gave him a lot of covet, and they asked him all kinds of questions, la'alocha. And he started feeling like, hey, all right. He was like, and he couldn't answer them. Because when a person is prideful, he cannot open his mouth. Kaladei Geyus, the Rebbe says a very, very sharp word because it is through pride, ubchinas avoidus ililim. And it says that Chazal said any person who is prideful is like an idol worshiper. Because he feels, that his own talents, and his own successes are his, and he becomes choshev because of them. And he deserves cover because of them. And he's like somebody who was a heretic. He's a kofi malchus shemayim, Only Kodesh Baruch Hu gives the person his atzlocha and his chokhmah. Ba'avodas elilim ksiv psilei Elohem tisufon ba'esh. The idols of their gods should burn in fire. We have a principle b'chol ha'omed lisoref kisoref namin. He said that if a person takes avodah zarah, okay, and he uses it for, let's say, to put something on it, that it should be, and on top of that to put, let's say, Neres Chanukah. Neres Chanukah cannot be less than 3 tfachim from the ground. So you don't have anything, you take off the Zohar and you put it on top of it. But it doesn't work. It's as if you put it on the ground. Why? Because the Zohar is destined to be burnt to be cut down. And we have a principle that says anything that is destined to be cut down, it's as if it was already cut down. And therefore, it doesn't have a shear. Even though the Maisa right now it is 3 amas, high, being that it's Avodah Zorah, and Avodah Zorah is destined to be cut, to be chopped up. It's like it doesn't have a shear. So it's even though the menorah is 3 feet from the ground, it's as if it's on the ground. Avodah Zorah is because kosis michtos sheure. It's like it doesn't have a shear. It doesn't have size, it doesn't have bulk, it doesn't have this, because its shear is cut down, it's chopped down, it's like chopped meat, it's like it does not exist. Anything that is destined, to be cut down, is as if it's already cut. So it doesn't have a shear. So it says, Psilei Elohem tisufon ba'esh, you're going to burn the idols of their gods on fire. Anything that is eventually going to be burned, it's as if it's burned right now. It is like this thing doesn't have a shear, when it doesn't have any chashivas, doesn't have any importance. It's as if it was bashed out and it was just rubbed away. As the Gemara mentions, like a shofar of avodah zarah. Since it's destined to be burned, it's as if it's already burned. If it's burnt, it doesn't have a shear. A shofar needs to have a minimum shear. So it's possible to, to blow. It's possible to blow. Since a person is prideful, he's considered like he's worshiping idols. Then the idols are, to be burned. Michtas kosis sheurei. In other words, he doesn't have a shear. He doesn't have the spiritual ruchnius by him, because spiritually he's not there. He's gone. He doesn't have the spiritual clay dibur to speak with him. That's why he cannot speak diburim kedoshim. Actually, nizo, but when a person is careful, and he's very careful that the kavod Baruch should be complete. Because he by himself is a total nothing, because he realizes the grace of Kodesh Baruch Hu and his own lowliness. So like this, his diburim therefore are illuminating. As it is said, and the land illuminated from the kavod of Hashem. Now, Eretz is B'chinas Malchus, as we said before, because it is in the land that the Malchus of Kodesh Baruch Hu is expressed, and because we cannot fathom HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we cannot grasp HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So how do we know of him? Because of the land. We see that he couldn't, the plants and the rocks, and from the land we see that the Malchus of Kodesh Baruch Hu. And the Malchus is deeper, as we said before, the Malchus fair. So what we're saying is, Ve'aretz, which is the Dibur, He'ira, it's shown to a person mikvoide. When a person is zeichet to the kavod perfectly, then these diburim, these diburim illuminate to that person to do tshuva. He'll do what to do tshuva and how to do tshuva. And when he's doing tshuva more and more and more, he's going to cleanse his body more and more and more, until now you'll be able to understand the Dibur Torah in great depth. Now, very important. There is two types of shiflos. There is shiflos amiti, and there is shiflos pogum. There is inferiority complex is not shiflos. It's not anav, it's not humbleness. In fact, a person who believes that all the failures in his life is because of him, because he's not talented, because he's stupid, because of this, whatever that, everything is because of him, is really no different than a person who thinks that all the successes are for him. It's the flip side of the same coin. It's only when the shoes is vis-a-vis HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm nothing with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Oh. Then it's shifras amiti. It's very easy for a person to think like, I don't have that problem. Because I think I'm such a failure, such a lowlife, I'm such a failure. I don't do anything. It's like I have no money, I have no this, I have no that, whatever it is. Okay, I don't have that problem of what the czar. I said, yes, you do. Yes, you do. I mean, it's only camouflage. I mean, you're the opposite. He thinks that his success is due to himself. You think that your failures are due to yourself. It's the same thing. It's like, I'm the one who causes everything. You are that way because the Kodesh Baruch Hu wants you to be right now this way. Why? Because the Kodesh Baruch Hu knows what's best for you. So Baruch Hashem, you're like that. Baruch Hashem, when you have no money, Baruch Hashem, that people think like this, whatever. You're succeeding, you're not succeeding, Baruch Hashem. Bidyuk kacha tzarich. Yesterday, I have to tell you, I have to share with you. I was making this way this yesterday. I had nothing to say. Absolutely nothing. Zilch. Nada. Zero. All right? So I was talking about that. Suddenly it struck me, like, what an amazing thing, I'm standing here. I'm spending an hour with the Likutei Moharan. Whatever, as long as I'm spending with the Likutei Moharan. Who is the king of the world, the king of all kings. Okay? Imagine, L'avdil, they call you to meet even Obama, okay? Forget about it. Yeah, Dafka him, the way he is, blah, 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 blah. President of the United States of America, Before you go in, you'll have an agenda, what you're going to talk to him, you're not going to talk to him. You rehearse. You're going to rehearse it. You have to tell the people what you're going to talk to him about. You can't just go in, they're going to vet you, who are you, and what you are, what you're not, whatever, and it's not, and Bechlal should be zoichet that your dibur should come to him. You're going to write a letter to the president, he's going to see it, Bechlal. But, just to the end, they say, okay, something, somehow, whatever it is, somebody owed some political favor, whatever it is, they're going to get you in to see Obama. That Barack Obama that you think is a bum, all right? You go to see to him. You know how you're going to prepare? You're going to know exactly what you're going to tell him. You're going to be serious with people. What should I tell him? What should I do? Should I speak about this? Should I speak about that? Whatever. You're going to speak to the president, right? Here I am, just a low shabalow, and I'm spending an hour with the king of all kings, and I have nothing to say. In other words, I'm so Heimish with him, it's okay for me to spend a whole hour with the king of all kings. Nothing special to say. I can't.
Because you're in awe.
No, I'm not in awe. I'm not in awe. I'm a bum. No, it's not awe.
Obama's a bum.
It's not an awe. It's not an awe, but I'm saying that's the whole Maila. I'm so Heimish with the king of all kings. I can tell with even have nothing to say. I'm in the mood. I don't feel too. It's like you're strolling into the Oval Office of the old Oval Offices. Says, yeah, what do you want? I don't know. I'll think about it.
What do you think about this?
I mean, how harsh can you be? It's like the biggest favor, the biggest unbelievable thing. I'm staying for this book and I have nothing to say. And I'm staying here. And he wants me to stay there. The Rebbe says, even if you're sitting in the room, you have nothing to say. It's a dover gadol, it's a great thing. You're going with his brothers and you have nothing to say. Wow, unbelievable. What could be a bigger compliment to a person is that the king is willing that you should come to him just to sit there. If you want to say, you'll say something. You don't want to say something, you won't say something. Whatever it is, it's okay. If you just want to come to him, it's okay. Come sit down, no problem. The king says, okay, so what do you want to say? I don't know, I have nothing to say. I have a lot to say, but I can't concentrate. I can't concentrate. I can't. And it's okay, it's fine. Because you're the son of the king. So it's an amazing thing. You don't have to, you have nothing to say, and you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to do that, it's okay. How Heimish, it's like, and it comes because, I'm so embroiled in Gashmis, I can't concentrate. I'm plugged up with a glob of gook, of all my gashmias and all this, and I need to take it out, and it's like, and then so the word to come talking, and just standing there, just come from whatever gashmis that I was doing, and I'm coming, and it's like, I don't know. Well, oh, Hashem, all right.